On the road in Salt Lake City. I kind of don't know what to do with myself because everywhere I turn there's these gorgeous snow-capped mountains and I've never seen anything like it in my life. Anyway, I'm heading to a restaurant called the Rose Establishment. I'm going to meet up with several patients who live here in Salt Lake City who have had RFA. And I am very excited about that because I have actually never met a patient who has had this procedure. The fact that I'm going to get to hear all their stories and share them with you is like a big deal to me. So I'm really excited about that.
When I first arrived at the Rose Establishment, I realized that only one of the patients knew me through Facebook and YouTube, so I quickly told the other two ladies my story. Here's the short version of what I told them. I advocate for patients with thyroid nodules who are seeking a non-surgical treatment option. I'm the creator of a YouTube channel and Facebook group exclusively about this topic to help more patients save their thyroid. I'm very passionate about this because I'm also a patient who was desperately in need of an alternative to surgery and found that in thyroid RFA. It is because of the website for Thyroid Clinic Utah that I first learned about this amazing treatment option. If not for these doctors and what they've done, I would not have saved my thyroid or become an advocate, and we would not be sitting here right now. Over the past 3 years since starting the group and the YouTube channel, I've been interviewing a lot of patients and physicians, including Dr. Ahmad and Dr. Aljammal from the Thyroid Clinic Utah. They actually invited me to come to Salt Lake City and meet them, film some procedures, and spread more awareness about thyroid RFA.
I was having like heart palpitations and my hands were shaky. Yeah. I was having trouble sleeping. So being me, I went and Googled these symptoms and Google said, okay, you could have like a thyroid problem, like hyperthyroidism or something. I told the doctor that I think I have some thyroid issues, and sure enough, my levels were way off, was hyperthyroid. I needed to, continue seeing an endocrinologist. And it really wasn't until I came to Salt Lake, was doing research, read about the RFA procedure. I didn't know if it was something I would need, but I was really kind of interested in it and fascinated by it. Made an appointment, ended up with Dr. Aljammal, and he spent a long time with me, and I had more thyroid tests done. And he also did drain all the fluid out of mine, because mine was part solid and part fluid. And it was a ton of fluid that came out. I hadn't realized that even though it wasn't really that visible, it was still putting some pressure on my vocal cords and stuff. And once that fluid was gone, I was like, I'm a little more relaxed. So it was determined that it was hot. So I could be hyperthyroid for a month or a week. So I'd get all these anxiety symptoms, and I'd also be really tired too.
What I think it is the fact that it's making your heart beat faster, your system's all ramped up, and I think it's just burning your gas tank dry.
My insurance didn't cover it, so I was like, all right, well, I can see how long I can wait it out. And finally my insurance came through. And so I just had, 2 days ago, a follow-up. My nodule has shrunk by 75%. And my levels, they're normal. They're at the low end of normal, but they're in the normal range, which is good. One thing I have noticed is that fatigue has kind of gone away. I'll actually wake up in the morning and have energy and not kind of just want to, that gas tank running empty. and the anxiety has gone down too.
In 2015, my TSH started plummeting. I got into a car accident and I had a CAT scan. They said, you have nodules on your thyroid. I didn't know what to make of that. At the end of the day, he just said to me, you're going to need to have your thyroid removed. And I sat there and I was at a low point. And I knew, because I had friends that had thyroids removed and they weren't doing so well.
Yeah.
He told me I was at an elevated risk for AFib and for bone loss. I was scared. I went home and I started doing research, and that's when I found Jen's group. The interview that really struck me is when you did Dr. Aljammal and Dr. Ahmad. They're right here in Salt Lake City. They're 15 minutes from my house.
You discovered them because of the interview? You
Yes.
didn't find them online, like researching?
Nope.
Oh my goodness.
It was the interview. You know, it gave me something, something to go with. And I saw their face and I now had them on the phone, and I had a little bit of a surprise though. The day of RFA, they do blood work just a couple days before, but I had the antibodies for Hashimoto's. Whoa, what do I do with this? Potentially I could become hypothyroid after RFA, and did I still want the surgery? This is the day of surgery, I'm sitting there. Hyperthyroidism leads to AFib, to stroke, to bone loss. I already had those things going on. I'm not removing my thyroid, not yet. He said, possibly we'll put you on a short spell, like 6 months of levothyroxine to support your thyroid while it's learning to work again. Sure enough, 6 weeks after RFA, my post-RFA blood work, I was hypothyroid. My levels were normal.
It's amazing.
For the first time in 6 years.
This is why I want to share this. Because this is what this does for people. It changes people's
It
entire
does. I'm a big mountain biker, and I was losing my energy. I couldn't keep up. I was in Phoenix not too long ago, and we were hiking and biking everywhere, and I was on top of my game. I'm back.
Welcome, Jen. Welcome to our office.
Thank you for having me.
Our clinic have a special interest with patients with thyroid disorder. A lot of practitioners who do a thyroid and thyroid treatment, they do general endocrinology in addition to thyroid treatment. Our practice is 100% focused on patients with thyroid disease. We evaluate those patients from point A to point Z, and we take care of those patients and make sure all their need is covered, including also managing patients who have thyroid nodule, and then expanding the treatment choices for those patients, including treatment with radiofrequency ablation. For me to see a patient with thyroid disorder, it takes only 2 weeks between the time of the patient calling to see me. For my colleague in the area, to see an endocrinologist, it takes anything between 3 months to up to 9 months. And having this availability give our patient access to medical care that they are well and they deserve it.
It takes a while for people to feel comfortable with new stuff. Not everyone who needs this and is aware of this is actually doing this. Fear of the unknown and new technology and all that. So plastic surgery does seem like standard of care in a lot of communities.
And I think a lot of people don't really understand how important the thyroid gland is to health.
Right, yeah, so there are significant numbers of people who, after surgery, in spite of normal levels, still never feel the same. And we as endocrinologists still can't understand or explain why that happens. We tell them their numbers are normal, but they don't feel normal. It's real. So it's burden carrying pills around with you for the rest of your life. Even if you go on vacation, you're on a cruise, you still gotta take your thyroid medication. In fact, some of my patients who go overseas for work and stuff are concerned that they're going to be able to find thyroid hormone. Is it going to be the same dose? Can they get their lab done? So it's a burden. It's not as simple as, oh yeah, this is how take this pill the rest of your life and everything will be fine. It's easy for the surgeon to say, but it's the rest of us who deal with the hypothyroidism.
What you're doing is quite incredible. Patients are eager to find this.
It is rewarding. I won't say that it's not. It is stressful too. It's not easy. It is safer than surgery when you look at the overall balance sheet in terms of how many people get complications, how many don't. But it should be used judiciously for the right patient.
Originally it was benign nodules that are non-functioning that cause compressive symptoms or people don't like. Then we moved it to autonomously functioning nodules that make thyroid hormone, that make people sick. It used to be, well, you have to have surgery, or you have to have radiation. You don't need to do that anymore either. Treatment success for relatively small autonomically functioning thyroid nodules with one treatment, 100%. And then we're working on a paper now for recurrent thyroid cancer, little lymph nodes. So the indications for surgery, smaller, and smaller. When you look at the science, I argue it's getting to the case where very few people should have surgery. But if you look at the statistics, 100,000 plus people in the United States having surgery, maybe 1,000 RFA cases. Right? If you assume, being very, very generous, if you assume 85 to 90% of those people didn't have cancer, you've got 90,000 plus people having thyroid surgery that probably should be having RFA.
The vast majority of that's probably unnecessary.
Vast majority of them are unnecessary.
It's a shame.
It is.
Well, that is why we will not stop talking about this.
Less than half of it is fluid, the rest is solid. I thought I had strep throat because my ear hurt, my jaw hurt, my throat hurt. I just went into the walk-in clinic thinking it was strep throat. He said, no, I think it's your thyroid. So then he sent me in for an ultrasound. He was worried because he didn't know why my levels weren't right. He sent me to Dr. Ahmad.
People will travel very long distances to get this treatment. I'm just really passionate about helping people find this because it shouldn't be like finding a needle in a haystack.
Well, I mean, if our thyroids are still functioning, why do we have to take them out and be on medication for the rest of our lives? Why can't we just fix the not functioning part?
Your neck's gonna shrink. You're gonna see a difference. It's gonna be...
This is the second time he strained it. The fluid just comes back.
Right. But what they're gonna do when they're in there is gonna stop that from happening.
You have this problem and it's like big and you always have this cough and it's annoyingness. But then as we talked about it, I was like, okay, no medication, thyroid's still functioning, why take it out and have to be on something?
Hey, it's not snowing yet.
Your insurance is covering this.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Not 100% yet.
But they're gonna recognize it. That's fantastic.
It's already been pre-approved.
Just hopefully it makes her better.
Yeah.
That's what we worry about.
Yeah. I did love Dr. Ahmad because even after all that, he said, so you have options. You can have surgery. You can do nothing about it. Or I recommend this procedure.
Right.
So here we are.
My partner, Dr. Aljammal. My other partner, Dr. James Orozco.
Hello.
Awesome.
So all of us are here for you, and we're going to make sure you're comfortable and get all of this done in a timely fashion. Okay? All right? So you can relax after that.
mean, it hurts a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get to go home and I
Yeah.
have no scar
Yeah.
and no crazy after surgery crap. So, people, this is the way to go.
I agree. 150,000%. Dr. Ahmad is amazing.
Patient tolerated the procedure rather well. Hopefully this should alleviate all her cough and difficulty swallowing and all the pressure-like sensations that she was dealing with. Also, this mass was very easy to see when she was talking.
And during the procedure, we're asking the patient to repeat her name and making sure her voice is normal. But this is a gradual process. We take our time, we make sure we are ablating all the zones that need to be done.
And all of this can still be done in just the office. You don't have to go to the hospital. You don't have to go to a special center.
They're going to leave in about 30 minutes and go right back home, go out to dinner, whatever their plans are. Nothing will change, other than the nodule will start shrinking soon.
I'm hopeful whenever she's going to come back, we're going to see at least anything between 75% of volume reduction or even more. And hopefully it's going to be maintainable for the next few years.
And I asked her how she was feeling, and she said, I feel great.
Well, that's the whole point of doing this procedure.
What they say. Usually they will say, hey, great. Some of them will describe a pressure. Some of them, they will feel like it just feel a little bit achy in my neck. A lot of patients will say it's easier than the biopsy, which is interesting, despite this being kind of a little bit more invasive compared to finding the aspiration. I think that's where the component maybe where this patient helped a lot in making this experience as a pleasant experience, not a negative experience for patients.
Well, let's go check on her.
Absolutely.
That's good. You feeling good? You ready for your drive back? Because you're cleared to go back home today. There's no problems. with
Yeah,
that,
it's sore, but not like when it first formed. Remember, like your throat was sore to swallow. It's back to that, but
Nothing major.
nothing major.
Good, excellent. And we think the procedure went really well. We expect really good results. We wanted to at least shrink by 50, but we're expecting more than that. And I think if we get 50% reduction, most of your symptoms of pressure and cough should go away. And by Monday, you should be right as rain.
Great.
Good.
Let's see you in 6 weeks.
6 weeks, we'll have a look at it then.
Save your thyroid. Save your thyroid!